Dear Agni Yogis, summarizing our previous broadcastings of the series Experiment Immortality and Spiritual Exercises of Agni Yoga, we may say the essence of the practice of Agni Yoga consists of 2 steps. First step: in the morning, in meditation, you transform into a being of higher vibration, into the new immortal man of spirit. You assume your eternal identity, for example, disciple of the Brotherhood, king of the spirit, healer, or spiritual warrior. The second step is, in the course of the earthly day, you will do everything to convert this spiritual reality into a material fact. You have to defend, in all circumstances, your position in the subtle world, the rung of the ladder of the hierarchy which you have climbed in the morning. The exercise we are presenting today is to help you with this. In short, this is what it is all about. Every time you leave your room, you put on, in thought, a dignified, subtle robe. An invisible toga. Then you appear in the world as if you were really physically wearing such a dress. This concept will make it easier for you to behave properly according to your ideal. This practice goes back to a narrative about the Saint Pope Gregory the Great. He is one of the great spiritual heroes of Christendom and all times. He came from the age-old patrician family of the Anitii and made it as far as the prefect, head of the city of Rome. Later he converted the palace of his ancestors on the Celius, one of the 7 hills of Rome, into a monastery, the monastery of St. Andrew, which is still in existence today, and joined it as a simple monk. He left the office of the abbot to someone else. However, he could not hide his noble birth, his comprehensive education, his rank, and his inner highness. It was said of him, even dressed in the simplest monk's habit, he nevertheless wore the invisible toga of a Roman senator. Accordingly, he was later recalled from the monastery and elected pope. In the time of the invasions of the Germanic tribes, when the government of Rome almost collapsed, he was not only the spiritual, but also the secular leader of the city. What does this story want to tell us? You have to educate your inner being, your eternal individuality, so that it becomes an immortal, a king of the spirit, or a disciple of the Brotherhood. This is possible in all circumstances. This true inner nature radiates from you, howsoever you look like outwardly. It is recognizable when you are a king by your very nature, even if, in this incarnation, you appear only as a shoemaker. On the other hand, when your true self is merely a primitive barbarian, you cannot hide that fact either, not even when you happen to sit physically on a throne. The growth of dimensions proceeds from within, and the spirit may bedeck itself with all the crowns of human glory, and still remain a beggar.
Furthermore, the story about Gregory the Great teaches us, whatever your position in earthly life, even if it is only a shoemaker, and whatever garment you wear physically, you may always be dressed in the dignity of a Roman senator or a disciple of the Brotherhood.
How exactly is this exercise being carried out?
Whenever you leave your room, in addition to your material clothes, you put on, in spirit, that invisible toga which belongs to your eternal individuality.
If you want to be a king in the world, you dress with the ermine coat, as a king of the spirit, with the philosopher's robe. In the monastic orders, there is the ceremony of dressing the novice in the habit. According to legend, some saints were given the cowl by the Blessed Virgin Mary herself.
From now on, you will perform this solemn ritual every morning. Give room to your fantasy. Imagine
the Father bestows on his Son, the coming King, the dress of a crown prince. The disciple takes from the hand of his teacher the white robe of the wise man.
Look in the spiritual mirror, and you will see such an attire clothes you well. You may wear it joyfully and proudly, even if it is only in thought. We are talking about a virtual robe that anyone can put on anywhere at any time. Thus, you may walk on this earth dressed royally, even if externally you should be wrapped in rags.
A white garment is ready for all. Learn to keep about you a radiant garment.
In the evening, while undressing, you give an account to yourself. Did you pay honor to the frock during the day? Internally equipped with this badge of your high dignity, you step out into the world. The others cannot see it, but it shapes your aura, and so they will sense the high position you have taken over. This is like putting on a uniform. On the one hand, you make yourself aware inwardly, and on the other hand, you express to the outside. You are no longer a private person, but the holder of an office. In German, instead of "you are holding an office," we say
"you are clothing an office."
This means two things. First, your body is only the clothing for your position in the higher world, which is much more important than your perishable personality. Secondly, you should wrap yourself in exactly that garment which corresponds to your spiritual position. It is said aptly, you are in office and dignity. The dignity you have taken over should be reflected by the dress you wear.
This is a little bit abstract. Can you explain that more vividly? Think of a doctor. He wears a white coat over his jeans in order to signify, now I am on duty. I put the personal aside. As long as I wear the work dress, I have in mind nothing else than the health of my fellow men. When the physician leaves his practice in the evening and returns to his private home, he puts off his white coat. Every job requires a certain dress. Forester, soldier, chimney sweeper, policeman, firefighter, judge, priest, or monk.
Likewise, your position in the hierarchy, whether in an ashram of the Brotherhood you are employed as porter, cook, gardener, novice, cellarer, or abbot, requires adequate clothing, if not otherwise possible, at least in spirit. By putting on the toga in the morning, you confirm the assumption of your cosmic office. This is a great responsibility, no matter how high or low your task may be. You will be tested by life itself during the day, whether you are worthy to wear such an attire.
At all times, in all religions, and in all cultures, members of spiritual communities or religious orders wore a special habit.
When you see yourself as one of several disciples of a spiritual teacher, you, too, are a member of a like congregation. One day, the teacher will grant you the special habit of this community as a token of your membership. You must wear this robe with pride and dignity. Unless you are physically embodied as a monk, and this will be the case in very few incarnations only, you usually have no choice but to don a virtual dress.
Saint Louis, King of France, who longed for retiring from the world and leading a monastic life, but could not be allowed to leave the highly important task of great responsibility assigned to him, entered the order of the Franciscans in spirit and wore, visible for no one, a monk's cowl under the royal mantle.
You do the same thing when you dress in the invisible toga. The habit reminds you to follow the rule of your order, the law of the disciple, and the 10 pillars of the practice of Agni Yoga. Especially when you are not staying at home, amongst your classmates at the feet of the teacher, but in a hostile world.